Hello and welcome everybody to the Great Poker Chip Adventure. This series, talking about poker chips, it sure is a lot of fun. These are Ace Authentic plastic playing cards made by Cartmundi. I'm going to grab 2 cards off the bottom. For people at home, you can go ahead and shuffle your decks and grab 2 cards off the top. Ace 6. That's my hand right there. We'll see if it ever focuses. I'm going to try to get these all in line today. All right, not great for me. Not really too flushy, I was gonna say, until now somebody might be drawn to a flush. Let's see what the last one is. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Oh wow, 7s. That's not great for me. If you have something awesome or just something terrible, leave it in the comments. Leave a comment, we would love to hear from you. Now, I know some of you right now are looking at these accessories and thinking, oh dear, it's overwhelming. How much stuff do I need if I want to sit and play poker, recreationally or whatever? You don't need all this stuff. You don't need a dealer puck. Poker chips are nice. And if you're here, you're probably looking for poker chips. And then there are some of you also just being like, wow, those chips are, you may not like these chips and you may be wondering, what on earth am I doing with these? John has finally lost it. Well, maybe, but I have a question for you. What would you recommend to people who are buying their first set of chips? Now, I'm not expecting you to tell everybody exactly one set to get. I'm looking for more general guidelines, and that's what this video is about. I want to help people who are new to this, or maybe even somebody who's considering another set of poker chips, to consider some options and some things, and that's what this is. This is just kind of a guidelines, all right? Not really rules. First, remember that your tastes are going to change. So don't. I'm going to say this probably again. Your first set shouldn't be your last. Okay. So that's just my first thought. Now there are actually 4 steps I have on the decision-making process, and they're not like ABC progressive. They're more of, what are you looking for? And we're going to help you with that. So the first thing in my mind is you really want to narrow your selection. And that includes a couple of big decisions. Like, do you want denominations on your chips? Or do you want chips with no denominations? Not sure if you're going to be able to see this clearly. But, there are chips that have denominations. And the problem is lots of times people in, across country or internationally will have problems with this little money symbol right here. This is in dollars. Okay, I live in the United States. People will want euro. They'll want pound. They'll want everything else in the world. So that's kind of presents an issue internationally. So sometimes they just put numbers on them, like this is a tournament set right here with just 500, no dollar sign or pound sign or anything. And then there are these, but there's always going to be that kid who's like, what's the red one worth again? It gets kind of complicated, okay? So do you want denominations, non-monetary specific denominations, or just nothing at all, okay? So the other thing to consider is the material. Now, materials are a big thing for a lot of people. It involves how the chips, how much it weighs, how it feels, how it looks. A lot of things are involved with that. Let's step through the materials real quick. Some of the big major materials. So you have cheap plastic chips like this. They're just the cheapest plastic available, okay? I think Bicycle may have discontinued these. These are the interlocking set. These are super cheap. They remind me of my childhood. Not that they're childish chips. They just remind me of my childhood. The new Bicycle ones are metal insert chips, 11.5 gram, which they sell as a casino chip. Why? Some people are obsessed with getting casino quality chips. Casinos not always, but many of the casinos I've been to, particularly in Las Vegas, use the highest quality chips. And so when they say casino chips, what they're really saying is they're just looking for a high quality set of chips, all right? So, remember there's a little bit more to it than, just mimicking casinos. So when you hear that, just remember, understand what they're talking about. And I understand it's more in depth, but we're not going to spend time on it. So we're just going to plow through this. The next set of chips, so these are both plastic. This is kind of an ABS. The next set are sold as clay composite. I think these Bicycle chips might even be sold as clay composite. But remember, It's a metal insert with a plastic shell. Okay, that's what these are. These are the Poker Nights. I have a set of these. And now I'm not trying to come across as a poker snob, but I'm going to give you my opinion. I do not like these metal insert clay composite chips. It's just my opinion, not saying you can't buy them. You know, so Claysmith makes some. Let's put these down here. This is probably where your selection balloons into this huge array of options, which is good. I encourage that, okay? So, here's some dice chips. These are also often sold as a clay composite, no denominations on these, very inexpensive. This was my college set. So again, you know, you can see my progression. I've had multiple sets already here, and we haven't even, we barely scratched the surface. And there are some other clay composites that are out there. I'm looking for some here. And I think those are the ones I pulled out to represent that whole segment. So we have Desert Heat. Oh, here's a big stack of them right here. The Monte Carlos. The Monte Carlos are, you know, what I thought were a pretty set of clay composite, but, you know, I don't like the edges. I don't like the weight. I don't like how unfinished they feel. They're kind of sharp, and you do notice that. I notice that when I pick them up. Two other chips I'm going to roll into this segment of clay composites are these Crown Coin Inlay. These are a very heavy chip. They have the same metal insert as the other clay composites, but they glued on these huge coin inlays as well on both sides. So it's a 3-piece metal chip with this plastic ABS material around it. Incredibly heavy. And I do not like these for all the same reasons. I mean, the edges aren't quite as sharp, but they're still kind of there. And the colors between this 1000 and 500 are so similar, kind of hard to tell them apart. Anyway, these are about the same price. It varies and fluctuates so much. You're looking under $100 for a set of any of these, including these Next Gen Pro Gen chips. Now, these are chips in this price category that are my favorite, and I still have a set of 300 of these, and we play with them frequently. These are not perfect, and I, you know, don't mind things not being perfect, but I like them. I like the way they feel. They have smooth edges, sharp corners. They're made out of a softer plastic, not maybe quite as soft as some of these, but they weigh 9 grams without a metal insert, which is wonderful. You see, perfect timing. Thank you, Next Gen. Okay, here's one with a missing inlay. These inlays can come out. These chips have broken. It's, you know, they're not perfect, but I really love them. You get a set of 300 for under $100. Here's a bag of broken chips. I always keep these for reference. You can see, here's a Next Gen that broke. Here's another Next Gen that broke. I think I broke at least one of those on camera. Here's some. Let's move into the next category. We need to get moving here. Next, I'm going to talk about ceramics. Okay. So scrolls are an inexpensive ceramic. Now, a ceramic, I should explain. A ceramic is a hard plastic. Okay. It's not in the ceramic in a sense like a traditional ceramic where you take a clay and then you bake it to a point where it melts together and it has glass-like properties. That's not what these are. These are just hard plastic that are dyed or printed. And, you know, some printing is just dyeing, you know, like dyeing paper. But these are plastic chips that are dyed. All right. And so, you know, it's not like a sticker that peels off. And they you know, are pretty durable as long as you don't take a knife to them, or if you're playing with any of these chips on a kitchen table that's a hard wood that's kind of dirty or has grit or sand on it, they wear out more quickly. All right, just be aware of that. Man, there are so many ceramics out there. Like the clay composite, this is another segment that has just blown into this huge variety of chips, and I love that. For me, I like that we have a huge selection of chips, and these two segments really offer that to us. The next one is a segment that is growing. We're speaking about materials here. We're dividing these into kind of material categories. We'll talk about some price differences here. Oh, here, let's throw in some Tiki Kings as well for the ceramic. These are some of the best graphics, as far as I'm concerned, on a poker chip. Lovely. Again, these are more expensive. I've seen them anywhere from around 60 cents a chip all the way up to 70 some odd cents a chip. Look around for a good deal. I'm just gonna, they might be off camera, but I'm gonna put them up here. Let's get some of these Venerati out of the way. These are Crown Laurel. So the ones I showed you were Tiki. These are called Venerati. Let's get some denominations out there so you can see that. And then this is the Crown Laurel set, the Nevada Jack set. Again, the graphics on this are stunning too. Nevada Jacks sell for a slight premium. Love those. Scrolls, lovely set. The scrolls, very usable. Nile Club, I also like the variety of Nile Club. I mean, ceramics, I usually buy samples of things I like, okay? There's a huge variety out there that I haven't even, discussed. Next, we're going to move into China clays. These are Championship Poker Series. These are kind of a tournament series. Just a lovely China clay. Now, I need to explain what China clays are. China clays are mimicking casino clay chips in the way that they feel and sound. However, you're going to get some little discounted features on them. Like, for example, did I say fur? What am I, American? Fur? Yeah. Anyway. So, for example, Paulsons in casinos will have, let's roll in some Paulsons. Okay, these casino chips right here are made by Paulson, all right? And I have some consumer, these are no longer in production. I have some consumer grade Paulsons, and they have many of the same features, okay? So, the materials may sound similar, and it may look like they have a similar kind of inlay, but remember, these are all stickers, okay? So that's a sticker. These are obviously printed on the chip, so you don't have to worry about that sticker peeling off. And you can see that with the broken chips, how those were just, stickers. And the China clays also have a sticker inlay. So the Paulsons, well, that looks like a sticker, John. Wrong. These Paulsons actually don't have a sticker per se. Those are embedded in the chip while the chip is still hot, still cooling, and the whole thing cures and cools together. So I take my pocket knife, I can pull this inlay out like a sticker, right? And it'll still be sticky on the back. This, I dig my knife into it. I'm just going to gouge it across here. And if I can manage to get that out, the chip will be destroyed and it's not going to be sticky. I can't just stick that back in, right? Think of like an epoxy or like a hot glue or something. It's just embedded in there, like these edge spots, right? Oh, there's a pink material right here. It's embedded in the chip. Yeah, I could get some needle nose pliers and break them out, but the chip is ruined. All right, so that's kind of what people are looking for to mimic. Those are really quite the highest standard. These are the Paulsons, the consumer grade Paulsons have the highest quality control of any chip I've ever measured ever, all right? So that's what they're shooting for. The China clays are not up to that, but they're mimicking that, and you get a very similar product, okay? When you're talking about just playing around and not examining them, in detail. So that's what China clays are mimicking. They call them China clays because they're made in China, but these Paulsons were made in Mexico, okay? Just so everybody knows. Now, all right, so China clays. China clays is another segment that has been growing in its variety. It doesn't quite have the breadth of the ceramic variety or the composite clay variety, which, plastic, but it's growing, and I like it that they're growing. I love these China clays. I love the way they feel. I love the price point. You can get a set of 300 for, usually a little over $100, right? Anywhere from like 120 up. Very similar to the ceramics. So good price points, very reasonable chip. Now, what other China clays do I have? There are some other ones that are discontinued. I'm not going to roll those in right now. All right. So that's representative of the China clays. Oh, Milanos. Those were hiding, camouflaged in with everything else. All right, so China clays are a very reasonable option, but again, you're not going to get a huge selection. Then we move into the premium chips. Now, the Tiki Kings are a premium chip. They're manufactured process is the same manufacturing process they use for ceramic casino chips. So not all casino chips are Paulson. Some of them use the ceramic style. Whether it be tournament or whether it be on the casino floor, we'll find in some casinos a ceramic style chip. Okay, so the premium, you're looking at Paulsons. I am going to leave Paulsons in this series because at a future date, it is likely, I'm not promising anything, but it is likely that Paulson will re-release commercially available poker chips. And for the people in the future who may roll into this video, you need to consider, if you're looking for a high-end set, the Paulsons, all right? I'm going to put the Tiki Kings up here, even though they are ceramic to the high end. And then there are things like these Key West chips are kind of a fantasy casino that are sold, but they represent kind of custom ASM, formerly ASM, now they are classic poker chips, like a classic poker chip series of chip, okay? So these also are, these inlays are actually inlays. They're not just stickers. They're hot. They're embedded in these chips. Lovely chip, a little bit more delicate, and a little bit more brittle than a Paulson, but maybe not quite to the exact standards, but a very reasonable chip. However, I need a big disclaimer here. They are very expensive, all right? Consider them more of a novelty item, maybe, than like a real set. Now remember, this is just covering stock chips. We can get into all sorts of things. Sorry, I'm totally just, everything's tripping over everything here. You get into like custom chips, right, where you can get blanks and you can get your own stickers and stick them in there, have them printed. You can get custom ceramics for not too much money, depending on what your budget is. So, and also remember that sometimes you can buy bulk, like huge amounts of used casino chips, which may be Paulson chips. So, there's a huge variety of chips that are not represented here on the table, but those may be beyond the scope of your first set. All right, now we need to move on. Okay, narrow your selection. You're talking about aesthetics, you're talking about material, you're talking about feel. The second thing that I think is very important to do is you want a point of reference. So you want to know and have an intimate understanding of casino chips, or, I'm not saying you have to go to the casino all the time, or your friend sets, if you know the dice chips feel, the dice chips feel. That's one more thing that you have on your side for you to make a good decision. Now, for me, what I would recommend, this may sound a little crazy to you, I would include other materials. So let's say you find the Monte Carlo chips and you love them. You think they're beautiful. I respect that. That's fine. Not my cup of tea. But I would recommend getting some China clays and some, just a little sample of China clays and ceramics so you can compare the two. Now, I buy samples maybe different than a lot of you. Oh, here's another set of China clays. Okay, I can see the denominations online. They're usually, I'm not usually interested in the whole range. I'm not going to buy, 3,000 chips, but, I'll buy a sample of 100 chips, or if I'm not sure if I'm interested in it, I'll buy the little $10 all the denominations set, and then I'll buy a stack of 25 of one denomination. So I have a stack of them, so I can see if there's a thickness issue. I can see if there's, consistency issues in the coloring and stuff. These are Pharaoh's lovely China clay chip here. And this is a sample set. I bought 100. I bought, 25 of the ones. I think I got 55s and 25s. Anyway, so I might buy samples different than you guys, but at least get the little sample of denominations. And it's only $10. That's the third thing on my list of 4. So you want to narrow your selection, include other materials, whether you buy the samples yourselves or whether you go to your friend's house to check out their poker chips, or just go to Las Vegas or a casino and just look at the chips that they're using there and see what you think of them. Finally, just get a set. Just do it. You're going to progress through here. This isn't a lifetime. This probably will be a lifetime purchase, but you're not going to be locked into one set for the rest of your life. Like for me, when I was a kid, I had these bicycle chips. I'm glad I don't, I'm not still forced to have them. I think those were just thrown out. I couldn't find them. I purchased these in 2014 just as oh my gosh, cool memories. My dice chips I gave away. I still have a set of coin inlay chips, which I am not too fond of. I still have a set of these poker nights, which I'm not too fond of. The poker nights is my loaner set. So if a sibling, comes and he's like, hey, can I borrow some poker chips? Yeah, here, 300 poker nights, go play. Ceramics, I have a set of Tiki Kings. That's kind of my premium at home, sit on my poker table set, all right? And then, Milanos, I have hundreds of Milanos on my craps table over there, and so, everybody's going to be different, you're going to progress as, you age, as your tastes are refined, all right? So just remember that. Your first set shouldn't be your last. Finally, let me hit real quick on retailers. There are different manufacturers and all of that, like Claysmith manufactures some of these, like the Milanos, like a China clay and a clay composite chip. They have a variety of clay composite chips. Nevada Jack has some interesting things. But retailers, where should you buy these chips? The two places I've had the best luck with, Apache Poker Chips and like the Majestics are from Apache Poker Chips, and BR Pro Poker. Okay, there's another one where I buy some like other accessories, like some other of the chips and some stuff like this. Actually, I think this might be from Amazon now that I think about it. But anyway, there is another retailer. I'm going to put it in the description. I can't remember what the name is off the top of my head. I don't order tons of stuff from them. I hope this helps somebody out there, and I would encourage everybody to leave a comment. Whether you're new or whether you're experienced, remember there are going to be people who have tons and tons of experience, and they've been doing this and collecting and playing with chips longer than I've been alive. So it would benefit you to read the comments, and in the worst case scenario, you just laugh at some trolls, right? All right, my name is John Hobby. Thank you for watching the Great Poker Chip Adventure. I'll be back with more fun and exciting videos and exciting media.